Hey ladies, I was in the middle of doing my new jams and I thought, oh my goodness, I should make you guys a video so I can show you how I apply them. It's much easier to show than it is to explain. And I just figured that this would be the best time to do it. So here it goes. The first thing I do, and I suggest to people that tend to have oily fingernails or oily skin, is to wash their fingers and their hands with Dawn dish soap. It really helps cut the extra grease and oils that might be on your fingernails and gives your jams something really good and to stick to so that they're not on anything oily. I don't have that problem, so I don't do that step. First thing I do is I push all of my cuticles back. I trim my fingernails to the length that I want them, and I just make sure that they're, I guess, perfectly clean, because sometimes you can get the invisible cuticle. And I just make sure I scrape them really good so that they're perfectly ready for the jams. And then the next thing I do is I wash mine with rubbing alcohol. Just a plain rubbing alcohol works for me in a cotton ball. And I actually do one hand at a time when I wash them. I've already done a couple nails, so those have already been cleaned. But I do all of my nails on one hand and then I go and do the other one. That way the other ones have time to set. So I got those nails cleaned. The next thing I would do is I would take my sheet of jams. As you can see, they're already in half because I've already done my other hand. But I would normally take it and I would hold it up to my fingernail and just see and kind of gauge which one's going to fit the best. You want the wrap to fit a little bit small. You want a little bit of your skin to show on the sides, because that way you know it's not anywhere near the skin or the cuticle and it's not going to lift. So let's see, I'm doing my middle finger next. So I would take it and I would peel it up. You can use tweezers, probably the best so you don't handle it too much, but I hold the very ends of mine because I have short fingernails and that's not going to be on my nail. And I actually apply my wraps first. I put them right on my nail and I don't push it down all the way. I just pretty much set it there and push it down in the center so that it stays, so that I can kind of gauge where I want it and so that it's not touching the skin. Then I take it and I turn on my little mini heater, or you can use your blow dryer if you don't have a mini heater, although I highly suggest getting a mini heater. They're quiet, they're tiny, they are very convenient, and I can do it during nap time, which seems to be the only time that I have free time. So that works for me. So then I heat the wrap for about 5 to 7 seconds. And it will get a little bit ripply so you can tell that it's getting pliable and ready to be pressed down. So, and then I press it down. I push it from side to side and front to back. I really put a lot of pressure on the tips of my fingernails. That way it really gets a good bond. If you get a little bit of a ripple, see I have a tiny, probably can't see it, but I have a tiny little ripple right there, and sometimes you can get them down the sides. To fix that, just take the end of your wrap and pull and stretch it, and it pulls all of those out. You can pull it pretty hard and it doesn't budge. So, let's see, what am I looking for? Oh yeah. So then I take my cuticle pusher, or you can use an orange stick, and I give it a lot of extra pressure around my cuticle area and around where the sides of my skin is, because I want it to bond to the nail and not to my skin. I want it to make sure it's pushed down into the tips. So my favorite trick is what I call the Baggie method. So take a Ziploc bag or a grocery bag or any kind of plastic you can get and pull it super tight around that fingernail, almost like you're going to push your fingernail through it. And then you heat it again for another about, I'd say 3 to 5 seconds. It gets pretty warm, so you can tell when it's probably unheated enough. So then it's plastered down pretty good. You still have the ends here. But I actually leave those. I go on and do the next fingernail. And then after that nail is completely done, I go back and I trim this one. So if you want, I can just go ahead and do that one. So I'm going to go through the same process. Just peel the wrap off. It's got some stuck to it. Hold the ends of it. Press it down on my finger. Right in the middle. Then I heat the wrap about 5 to 7 seconds. Hot. Push from side to side, front to back. If I have any ripples, I'll pull the end out and down. Take my pusher, Push, give it extra pressure around all the sides and on the tip. Take my plastic bag, wrap it really tight, heat it again for about 3 to 5 seconds. Okay. And then that one's done, and it just needs to be trimmed. So, since this one is already cooled off, you can either take your scissors, your fingernail clippers, or what I like to just do is use my file. It cuts it right off and I don't have any problems. I feel like it does the best job. So you want to file in a downward motion. It really just cuts right through the wrap, pretty simply. So the ends of that is off. And then I take my file and I file at a slight angle on top of the nail. I want a teeny tiny sliver of my fingernail to show at the tips. That way I have absolutely nothing hanging over and I don't have to worry about it catching on stuff or the tips lifting. So, there's that. Looks pretty good. Well, I hope that was helpful to you. If you have any questions, just go ahead and contact me. Thank you.